Hey guys, just wanted to pop in real quick. We had some technical difficulties for this episode, so just bear with us. Even though some of the mic quality isn't perfect, our message still holds value. With that, we hope you enjoy the episode. Is it picking me up at all? I wish I could see myself. It's okay. That's okay. You look great. You look handsome and beautiful. You have the physiques of a man and a woman, and that is a huge compliment. All right. Episode 4. What's up, brother?
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm great.
Great.
I'm Leighton,
And I'm Drew.
and we're brothers.
This is the Countdown 2 podcast. So welcome. This episode's on rest. How about
This episode's on fuel.
I'm on the wrong episode.
Yeah, it's like,
Excuse me? This episode is on fuel. I was jumping ahead because I get excited.
Yep.
Like a little lost puppy. Whatever that means. So yeah, this one's on fuel. And I feel like that's a little bit more your game.
Mm.
But yeah, two brothers. This is our journey, our workout journey. This is something we've been wanting to do. We want to invite you along to our journey, but more so, we'd like to be involved in your journey. We came to this wanting to get in shape, needing to get in shape. Later on in life, we weren't athletes. We weren't, physically fit. We just didn't, have that background. And so this is just a little bit later in life and starting fresh and brand new. And there's, of course, a million things out there on working out and all stuff like that. But we just found certain things that work for us and that we'd love for us, whatever we can bring to the table to help you possibly in your journey. So quick recap. So the introduction to Countdown to whatever is basically like, how do you eat an elephant? I mean, it's just one bite at a time, right? And so I think that people get lost in, I got lost in like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get to whatever this goal is. I want to be physically fit. I want six pack abs, blah, blah, blah.
Also, what does that look like?
Like, yeah, absolutely. And it's just, it's sort of unrealistic because you have sort of this idea, but how do you gauge it? And so we found in our journeys where, hey, let's just bite off small chunks at a time. So let's have a countdown that's about 90 days and have a goal. Whatever that goal is, maybe it's a run 5K. That was definitely mine at the beginning. I hated running and hurt my knees and all stuff like that. But 5K was manageable. And so then having a countdown and then sort of reverse engineer to what that looks like. And so for myself, or where we're at now, we have a countdown of riding Moaz, and we're mountain bikers. It's something we've always wanted to do. There's a trail called the Whole Enchilada. It's gnarly. It's 28 miles of craziness, and we need to be in shape for it. And so this is a big goal of ours, and we're reverse engineering to where each week we're closer to meeting that goal. And then after that, we'll do another countdown to something else related. And so we invite you to that. And along the way, each week we're talking about the different episodes. Like episode 1 wants a pilot off the. Number 2 is mindset around our countdowns, around tackling these big things of ours, goals of ours. Next one's community and the importance of it, how, without it, chances are it's not going to happen. And we're speaking from experience. Like, until we got our own communities, it's just when that happened. Today's fuel. Next week will be motivation and understanding that what motivation is. And even if we can adapt to changes, change happens because we don't live in a perfect world. And then the week after that will be rest and the importance of it. And that'll lead us right to our countdown. To where we'll film on site in Moab and take you along the adventure. So, in a nutshell, that's what it's about. And this week again is
Fuel.
fuel.
The importance of energizing yourself so you can actually either get the gains, lose the weight, meeting your goals. It is very true that what they say is 20% is exercise and 80% is what you're feeding yourself. So what does that mean? Like the whole industry is so, or not the whole industry, but even our government's like pyramid of healthy eating is just skewed, like in all this processed food. So anyway, this is what has worked for me and what I've learned with reading. To be clear, the food that I eat, this is for someone who's doing CrossFit for 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. So it's not for necessarily people that don't do anything. What I would do is breakfast. It was 4 eggs cooked with a half a cup of cottage cheese. Do not knock it. It is actually quite delicious. You can't even taste the cottage cheese. And then I would try to add some carbs, either sweet potatoes that is satiating, to keep you full longer. Throw in some vegetables as well. That would usually keep me kind of full for till around lunchtime. And then I would make about a serving of venison with some rice or quinoa, with some more vegetables. And then with my schedule, I would go train after work, and then I would try to stick to high proteins for dinner, low carb, and then with a protein shake that I would make. I'd add egg whites to it, and just pack it out with protein. So, um,
How many calories you burn in that with that schedule?
just from the work, how many calories burned with working out? Probably 800 to 1200 calories in a workout.
Diet really fits refueling for.
Yeah, and I felt amazing. Like my body's working. A lot of people like they think to starve themselves or like cutting out food, which getting in a calorie deficit is important to lose weight. But your body needs the fuel so everything can function properly. Like you don't not put gas in your car and then expect it to work.
What about electric cars? What are we gonna?
Those don't exist anymore. Those aren't real.
So what about somebody that wants to join in into their own journey, their own countdown? They are starting late on in life. They had a health scare or a pivot point where they're just like, I need to be around for my kids later on in life, and I'm headed down a road I just don't want to go. Like, what you as somebody who has been there and now to where you are at now, what would you suggest?
Starting out, I would say you can go, like, I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. I've gone to websites to be able to find with my height and weight how many calories that my body needs to function. And then if you want to lose weight, you want to keep just below that. That is literally the only way to lose weight. There's so much BS on programs on buy this thing, I'll help you lose weight, shred it in a week, whatever. It's like, it's not true. Like a lot of people I feel like they want to make a big statement. So we're going to do some big mission to be able to lose weight. It's like, Joe, just start cutting back. Make small switches during the day of, snacks. Instead of candy, reach for some fruit. Like, you get some carbs and stuff, but you're staying fuller longer. It has nutrition that your body needs. Just make these small changes day to day, and don't kill yourself if you deviate from that. Me personally, I'd be like, oh, if I failed, why even start? I feel like you can attest to that as well. As I would be like, I wouldn't give myself any wiggle room to not fail it. So what I had to do was just like, it's okay. Like, all right, I had this snack that I've been wanting. I'll do it again tomorrow or the next meal or whatever. And then I'd also remind myself too, especially on like a day I didn't want to work out. Like, okay, that's okay, but that is one day further away from my goal that I'm pushing out on the other side. But it just kept me going. It is okay to make mistakes. It's okay to deviate. Do not punish yourself because you had a donut because someone brought donuts in at work, because that happened last week. Were you gonna add something here?
No, I was just to say that I think what I'm hearing you say is, you know, any movement is movement. Like, and we talked about that a bit with just working out. Like, hey, just walk around the block. Kind of the same thing with food. It's just like, hey, parents' portions smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Was the American diet and the portions that are served are huge.
Yeah.
We don't have to eat all that.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. Like if you really look at what our body needs 3 times a day, like oh my gosh, that plate is a lot smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And but I like what you said. It's just like experiment, fail, and just figure out what works.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I think Eva and I are on the same page where we've always been black or white painting, like it's all or none. Crap, I ate a donut. Screw this. I'm done. Yeah, it's not. I can't do it. I feel like something like food, especially in the beginning, like trying to trick your body, trick your mind, um, into like, hey, this is the new way. But you're going to draw energy from things that actually are meant to give us energy, not from sugars.
Right.
And that is a big transition piece. And it takes a while.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking from like a person who will do it, fail, do it, fail, do it, fail, and finally give up over and over again. Like I just got a weird relationship with food, but yeah. So I'm trying to reiterate what I'm hearing you say because I was student here too.
But yeah, interrupt as much as you want.
I will.
Well, and then, even myths. You're talking about getting energy from sugar. Our energy source is from carbs, and so many like fad diets are like carbs are bad. No carb diet. Your brain needs carbs to be able to function in a certain amount every day. The problem is that so many like processed foods have so many complex carbs in them, a high amount, and then when you're not using that fuel, it gets stored as fat, and so that's another thing that adds to gaining weight. So I'm not saying eat as many carbs as you want, but also in the calculation of finding out how many calories your body needs, it'll also kind of give you an idea on how many carbs you need, how much protein you need. Um, I try to stick to high protein diets because I for years have just been bulking. It's really hard for us to gain muscle, so we gotta work at that. But and you mentioned relationship with food. My relationship with food changed drastically to where like I still love great tasting food and go out at awesome restaurants, but my relationship with food has changed of like, oh, this is how this is gonna make me feel. Like I eat pretty much the same stuff every day. And I'm happy with that. Like, oh, I know I'm gonna feel awesome after this, energized, ready to go, and that makes a big difference. Versus like, because a lot of people struggle with eating as punishment, or stress eating. That's a big deal too. She's stress eater. I
And raising.
think I used to be a stress eater.
Well, we grew up in a family that was very much. My mom was children. Yeah, they pretty. I mean, it was wonderful to do what she knew and what we knew of food, but we also were stress eaters. And we learned that. Um,
Actually, now that I think about it, when I was going through like heavy depression, like right at 18, I'd go get like a pack of cookies and milk and then eat that all night long.
oh gosh, wow,
Yeah, like it was,
that's intense.
yeah, it was intense. I kind of forgot about that. And
Yeah.
so, and every once in a while, I will have cravings. Well, I'll go for a run or I'll give in and just like, okay, it's fine. I went over I'm not trying to lose weight right now necessarily. So, um, but also certain things that help curb cravings, like that I've learned. And you can look most of the stuff up. I did not invent any of this, but like if you're craving sugar, it usually means you're dehydrated. Because when you are lacking salt in your diet, you crave sugar. And that like you can drink electrolytes. It's just straight water can dehydrate you too. It doesn't replenish you completely. Say, or throw some salt on your tongue. It usually kind of takes away that craving. Pickle juice, which I hate pickles, so I'm out on that. But there are ways to curb those. And so I notice when I'm well hydrated with electrolytes, like I'm not having cravings really. All these goals that we're making for ourselves, you don't have to. I feel like so many people are like, I have to always fight cravings for the rest of my life if I want to eat healthy. No, you don't. You're retraining your body to have different habits. And it takes just a couple months of decently consistent work to where after that, it just comes easy because it's what you do every day. I rarely have to make myself train to go work out, and you as well. And if we do, I can reach out to you and you'll be like, dude, freaking get off your butt and go work out. I'm like, okay. Or, the you work out. Yeah, man. What you're referencing. Or if you are. But hey, bro. Hey, bro. You're fat. Yeah. Oh, but all these training, eating right. You don't. It just comes second nature after a while. So just stick with it. That was the hardest part. You and I would always break away, and not. I used to mean the old us. Like we would try to change, and then here's the end goal to where it gets easy, and then we just give up. Like, oh.
Well, I think that that's part of our journey is, and what we want to help others with is, I didn't understand the relationship with food. Like it's like, what's fuel, what's depleting, or not depleted, but um, goes against what you're after, kind of thing. And even just the sheer fact of water. I keep drinking water because I have to be close to a restroom all the time or freeze.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but like you say, because of the cravings for whatever, I'll drink a 16, 18, 20 ounce glass of water first. Then you run it.
Yeah.
You get a little bit chance to sell in, but then you run that, and chances are portions are small.
Yeah.
And or that salty whatever else it was.
Yeah.
And but I agree with you, where it's like you get it to a point where after a while, and I think it goes on with working out, you get to a point where you're just like, you know what, I don't need to backslide. I don't want to backslide. I don't need this tree because I'll put me here, where I actually mind to go here. I want to build off of that.
Yeah.
But again, I think that the relationship with food is just understanding where you're at and where you've been and why you've been that way is huge within this process.
Yeah.
And like you say, just it has so much bearing on how fit or how well or how, and I like what you say, how you're going to feel. Because when I get to a point where it's like, oh, this fuel helps me feel better, I'm like, oh, boom, I'll do that all day. I know that alcohol will make me just a slug. Same. Yeah. And crash and all that stuff like that. I know so food will do the same. And so I was like, oh, no, I'm okay. I'm okay not having that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my brain has been programmed. I just kind of realized I do this naturally, and I didn't realize how weird it may sound, but it's normal to me. Is when I'm on a road trip, I'm like, I'll go either to a gas station or grocery store. I'm like, all right, I need a carb source. Okay, there's a banana. Cool. That's great amount of carbs for low calories. I need a protein source. Oh, there's cheese sticks. And sometimes I'll get a protein bar or I try to stay away from processed foods as much as possible. I'm not perfect at it whatsoever. You don't have to be perfect at it. Just be mindful of it. That's the big difference. Be mindful of these things, not perfect at these things. So, and they, and you can double up on a banana, double up on a cheese stick or whatever if you have to. That's what I'm looking for. I'm like, what does my body need to get through versus like, oh, candy bar sounds great for a road trip sitting, for hours. But also these small changes, like a week long of eating pretty good and you have a candy bar, eating good, have a candy bar, eating good, have a candy bar, versus like you ate perfect and you kept yourself from your favorite foods all week. And then that weekend comes and you just tank, like you give in to what you want. And then you eat like crap all day long. That first week of, giving yourself some food that you really like for one meal versus what you would do for 3 meals plus 2 snacks is so much better than just cutting yourself off completely.
And binging.
And then binging. Yeah, failing. And then you're mad at yourself because you haven't trained your mind to like, okay, that's fine, let's get a last week.
You throw everything out and work out and all that stuff too. So
Exactly.
well, and I feel like I'm in the same boat where I travel for work, and I go to pretty remote areas where it's like, okay, so the food options, there are no restaurants. There's, McDonald's and, the typical fast food chains. And there's times where I'm just like, crap, I gotta eat. So I'll try to find something that's the best possible for a fast food joint. But I like what you say, where it's just like, go to the convenience store, grab the protein.
Yeah.
That cheese is just cheese.
Mhm.
It's not fatty cheese. It's just cheese. And those cheese sticks you got to watch some of what's inside, but even like the beef sticks. And then so there are a few things that you can grab, curb your appetite. And then when you do need to go for a big meal or just dinner or whatever, it's like, okay, I'm not that hungry. Okay,
Right.
I can be satisfied with a salad.
Yeah.
Or I did grab a high sugar quote unquote protein bar at the gas station. That's highly processed and so that masquerades as healthy. Yeah. Uh, um. So you know, it just made it work. Figure out, make it work. Uh, Stay consistent. Sounds like just like work.
Yeah. Well, and I've done it for road trips too. Most of my road trips are to go mountain biking. I have a Yeti ice chest, and I would hard boil 24 eggs.
Oh my gosh, you came to my house with a freezer bag full of boiled eggs that stank out to have.
And I was fueled great.
Yeah,
It was wonderful. Potato salad, all this. But I'm just saying, like, I would reach back, eat an egg. It makes a big difference. I remember one time I was at a convenience store and I was buying this food, and the lady was like, "Oh man, I used to eat this certain diet." Like, she may have said vegan, I'm not sure. She's like, "That was great." I was like, "I bet you felt great." She's like, "I did feel great." Like, it's just like, just focus on how it's gonna make you feel, because looks come later, and that's a huge like, "Oh, this is awesome," but the changes in how you feel will come first, and that's really addicting. Like, oh, I want to feel great.
Well, and the truth is, yeah, we look how we feel, or how we look on the outside is what is happening inwardly. But whether that be mental, physical, spiritual, all the above, if our insides are garbage, we're obviously going to look that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's great.
I do want to add too, because part of diet, losing weight, burning fat, there's so many misconceptions out there about burning off fat. So obviously calorie deficit, which means staying below the calories your body needs to function, staying low by like a couple hundred each day. And a lot of that exercise helps, because exercise burns calories, but that shouldn't be the main reason for exercising. As you lift weights, your metabolism changes, and you actually start burning fat. When the more muscle you have, the more constantly you're burning calories. Even when you're sitting down, like not doing anything, your body's still operating. Their spot fat burning is a complete lie. There is no like, I want to lose fat right here, so I'm going to do these or whatever, or some kind of movement, abs workouts. That doesn't work. That just builds muscle, but the fat still stays there.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we, being skinny fat, we carry it all here. It's the last place for fat to leave, and it drives me crazy, especially when you're bulking, because you're not losing fat, So that's been really hard with our journey. But anyways, so all these programs that want to sell you, like, or tell you need to do this, be in a calorie deficit. Also zone 2 fat burning. because people think, oh, I should be running to lose fat. When your heart rate is at a certain level, a really high level, like running or sprinting, it needs quick energy. So it burns carbs, the carbs that you eat that day, which is not stored fat. When your heart rate is just elevated to zone 2, which some people, that's walking, and that's great. Just go walk. It's hard, but walk. And like, I don't want to say you have to do it for 45 minutes, but 45 minutes is a great small goal to try to reach. But when your body is at that low, like maintenance mode, or not maintenance, but chugging along mode, it starts using fat that is stored, not carbs. And so when I say you can start small, you can't, and it's effective. You don't have to, like, I need to go run as fast as I can every day. And it's like, no, just get out and move. Right now I am trying to lose some of this fat. So I'm walking 2 times a day on work breaks, 15 minutes. At our level, I have to like kind of do a very light jog to get my heart rate up because we're mountain bikers and our cardio's higher, so our heart rates stay lower. And a great way, there's 2 ways, obviously, to track your heart rate being at zone 2. You can wear one of these, a wearable, an Apple Watch, whatever, to keep track of your heart rate, and it'll say you're in zone 1, you're in zone 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I just learned that if you can do amount of walking, exercise, whatever, and you can still talk, you're in zone 2. Once you're not able to talk, you're up in the higher zones, so you just kind of lower your rate down.
I appreciate that piece.
That was helpful for me. I was like, oh, that's great, because like these are freaking expensive. I pay a subscription for this, and sometimes I can't quite afford it. Like, and so I'll cancel it for a month. And it just, you don't need this, but for me, it's a huge, like, oh, what do my numbers say? Like, oh, what do my sleep say? Whatever, just something to make me mindful of my process.
And I think that's too where people are at, like just starting out, just get out there.
Yeah.
Just get out there, determine even what your baseline is.
Yeah.
By working out. And then as you get to your level where you're just like, hey, I'm tracking everything. I desire to track everything. I want to try everything. So I stand at familiar, try everything. Go that route. Let's get to a point where that's what you know you want and know you need.
Yeah. Well, okay. For instance, just regular people with families. When you go and the sun's coming out, go outside with your kid. Don't sit and be on your phone while your kid's playing. It doesn't have to mean you're doing the same exact thing with them, but like get moving around with them. Haley took her kids to this like jungle gym, and she mentioned to me of like, man, there's just parents sitting around just on their phones, sitting on a couch all day long. Meanwhile, she's playing with them. As they slide down, she's catching them, throwing them up, and whoa, like that is zone 2, like light cardio through for a couple of hours. Like when I play volleyball, I burn like 1,400 calories in a couple hours playing volleyball of just, your heart rate goes up and then it stays here because you're constantly moving, especially if it's like 3-on-3 instead of 6-on-6 where you're just like,
Oh,
You don't have to move far.
never played volleyball before with that.
that's perfect. That's exactly how it is. This seems weird. Anyways, so yeah, what are you gonna?
Oh, something you said brought to mind, like with kids and stuff like that. If you are kind of not, I won't say target audience, but if you are in the audience of, with the type of people that are, starting this journey later on in life, these abilities that your kids to watch them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're watching your eating patterns,
Mm-hmm.
and they're watching your phone use, and I'm gonna be hated on for that one. And I don't guilt to do where it's just like, oh, phone. And I see him an 8-year-old be like, you do, I'm here, well, not never, and
That's not
Fair.
but and hypocritical and all the above.
Mm-hmm.
But like we're constantly training the next generation, our loving kids, what life is about. And they're learning it by watching, they're learning it by what we're serving, learning it by where we go to eat and the portions, all the above. And man, it's just like that's what gets me most of all. It's just like, oh my gosh, my son, like, is he even at the chance? Like, is he going, hey, yeah, I'm going to go out to eat twice a week or 3 times a week. That's why I kind of say, and it's no over anything.
Right.
He just does what he wants. And it's like, man, okay, I've got responsibility, and especially as things get more processed, more fillers, more all the above of food, he's gonna have to learn like choosing healthy things
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
to even have a chance not be that bad or what a 300-pound or whatever the case may be. I mean that's drastic. Yeah, it starts now at 8.
Yeah. I want to add, if someone's listening and their first reaction is to hate on you for being an example for your kid, they need to look at themselves on why they're not going, oh yeah, you're right. I should be setting a better example for your kids. And if you want to get outside, if you want motivation for yourself to get outside, and you have kids, be like, want to go play? They're down. Like for the most part, they're down to go play. And while they're riding their bike, go on a walk with them. Go do a 15 to 45-minute ride. And guess what? They'll get tired and then they'll go to bed early. And
Whatever you want. Win.
No,
Okay?
burn them out. Oh, there's plenty of times where my kid's like, hey, dude, let's go swimming. And I'm just like, oh, gosh, I don't feel like going down to, where our
Right.
pool is and doing all that. But, oh, wait a minute. Okay. He'll go to bed easier. Okay. I'm making memories.
yeah, there you go. Making memories.
And this is fun. And, he's learning to swim. So it's like, okay, this is one thing. Like, he needs to learn to swim for many reasons. So one is drowning or work. And it's like, no, he needs to. And he's at that age. And honestly, for myself, it's like there's a time where he won't want to.
Yeah.
And that's coming sooner than later. And that scares the hell out of me because I love him and hanging out with him. And I love his independence, but the more independent he gets, the less he wants to hang out.
Yeah.
And it's much like, oh gosh, okay, I need to, take advantage of the time now. And I think that translates to kids, to our spouses, to what it takes to be that time spent, you never get back.
Yeah.
Or the time wasted, you never get back. So like utilize the time to keep right, to better ourselves, to be with our family and loved ones. My relationship with the things around me are always better.
Yeah, good. Well, I want to touch on mindset just a tad.
That was a few weeks.
We're running out of time, fool. Shut up. I got lots to say. No, when you were like, oh, he wants to go play, I'm starting to talk myself out of it. I do that all the time, and I've learned that if I don't jump on it right now, I won't get to it. Stuff at work that comes in, oh, this bill, or I'll work on this later. I have to like, nope, get on it. Nope, get on it. Take out the trash, gotta go now. Like I've learned that, like, I just need to jump on it, and then it gets done, and then I can chill for a minute, and I'm happy about that. Also Whole Foods. We talk about
Not
to
to
avoid. Dude, Whole Foods, the store is so cheap. Driving to Santa Rosa and buying food from there is cheaper than going to Safeway in my small local town. By the way, would people complain about that? $13 for regular eggs at Safeway in my small town. For pasture raised, amazing tasting eggs, it's like $8 at Whole Foods in California. Anyway, in our crisis right now.
Right.
But that's
for
12, yeah.
But were you talking about the store or were you just talking about?
No, I'm talking about, because we say processed foods. Stay away from processed foods. So what do you go get? Whole Foods, like real whole foods, minimal ingredients. There's been such a, oh, red meat is bad. And I'm talking from a person exercising. Like if you're already overweight, diabetic, have all these issues, sure, maybe not eat some of these foods. I am not a dietitian, but someone that is exercising, like, steaks aren't bad. Maybe how you cook them, grass fed, not all this processed crap. Milk, regular milk is great. Eggs are great. In fact, I found recent Harvard medical school study, medical school,
Medical school study.
Yeah.
and they were like, we're actually their test that they had years ago about eggs being bad on your cholesterol. They were like, we weren't completely accurate because a lot of these people, they're making eggs in terrible oils, terrible butter, and what are eggs mostly paired with? Yeah, sausage and bacon. So they didn't say have 6 eggs a day, but they were like, but it's not affecting cholesterol as bad as they thought. And they fully admit it. And Mayo Clinic had the same exact thing. I was eating 4 to 6 eggs every day. And people go, but the freaking McDonald's, they don't. Oh yeah, great, you had McDonald's, or whatever. And I have Taco Bell every once in a while because I don't cut myself off of everything I enjoy.
But you have that many eggs, so technically you're yoked. You can
God, I can't believe we wasted 5 seconds. Anyways, eating as vegetable, whole vegetables, sticking to the organic ones that are there's a whole list on which vegetables go organic, which ones not, that you don't have to. Anyways, just start doing some independent research and not listening to people that are trying to keep you sick for their gain. Or pharmaceutical companies. They're here to help us. They're here to keep us as customers. Like, it's brutal. So if I die tomorrow,
there are legit reasons to be taking medication. Well, he's not saying that. But yeah, absolutely. But it's like, no, I just need to make small incremental changes here to here to each meal and then build on that slowly. And even in our relationship with fast food or even convenience stores, where it's like, I know tons of people that's like, oh, I drink like 3 energy drinks a day. And I said, oh my gosh, find a way to get off that alone will be monumental. I mean, guys in their journey, Jimmy who, which there's certain supplement companies that have like energy drinks, but they don't have all the garbage in it.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, I started drinking that, and like, I've lost so much weight just not drinking those energy drinks.
Yeah, cutting out drinking your calories, the big coffees, the alcohol. You can have them every once in a while. It doesn't have to be a day-to-day basis. And when you're drinking heavy calorie coffee in the morning, alcohol at night, soda in the middle, you're adding 1,000 to 1,000 calories just in what you're drinking.
And you're getting croaked. Oh, how come I can't lose weight?
When you're like, I need to make a drastic change right now, you're more likely to fail because you didn't meet this high standard. You only got to here, and so you're like, I'm a failure, and you go right back down. So just start making this little change this week, this little change this week. You might go down a little bit, but then you can go back up. Go switch out a meal for a healthy meal one day, and then go for a walk. Successful day. I will root you on to be like, hell freaking yes. The donut last week at work, I was like, oh, that sounds great. And then you think about it for a second, and you're like, I'm going to have some immediate gratification. Kinda. And then I'm just gonna feel like crap the rest of the day. Not only because of just like sluggish, but also just like I didn't need that. I make better choices than that. But again, when you're starting out, it's okay to just, give in every once in a while. You don't have to cut yourself off from the things that you love, the things that you really like, and you learn to love other things that make you feel great. And then as you start feeling great, you're able to make better decisions. You get excited. I love going to the grocery store or a health food grocery store and finding new things that are, oh, this looks great. This looks delicious. Doing research. Start looking up healthy breakfasts. Yeah. And anyway, I could talk about this for a long time, but yeah, that's kind of the basics of it. I'm sure we'll touch up on fuel some more, but start thinking of food as fueling your body instead of gratification of taste.
or fishing about it.
Talk crap and tell me I'm wrong.
No, let this guy tell you, what worked for him or not. Let him go on and help you, whatever the case may be. So, anyways, I think that's it for us.
Yep.
Next episode is going to be motivation. Ta-da! The myth, whatever it may be.
Which is also a segue of it's okay if you eat that food. You'll get better next week. Okay, we're done.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.